Hi Angelo, lovely to meet you.
Kubi, how are you?
I
It's
am
nice to
well.
meet you and welcome to my atelier.
This is beautiful.
Thank you so much.
This is absolutely beautiful. Now, I want to start talking about your brand, but from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, you designed some of the most beautiful dresses. You've just finished doing a fantastic runway show. But take me back to the beginning. How did it all start?
Well, it started like, like way back when we were still in grade school, Like you have to scribble, that you wanted to be a fashion designer. My mom used to tell me when, as a little kid, she brought me to the hospital, and then she would have this checkup, and then as a baby, she would put me down, and then all this narcissist hosiery. She would notice that I'm so keen of the hosiery.
To touch it?
The hosiery, I was so feeling like like this, like,
You
I said, this baby boy. How this I thought oh, it's a male thing, like to touch all the legs of all these nurses in hosiery. So I noticed like when I was growing up, like I was fond of my mom's skirt, like all these pleated skirts with all this stilettos.
Beautiful.
So I grew up in the 70s, so you could imagine all this beautiful mini dress and all these things.
Yes.
So when I was growing up, I was so fascinated with my mom's dressing up. There's all this mini twin set, on the 70s.
The Chanel jackets.
Yeah, the mini jackets and all these things,
Yes.
like all these things. Yeah. Yeah, so it was innate. We could say it was innate. It was not, deep inside of me, there was a brewing of a style.
I love that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they should go back to the nurses now and say, he wasn't touching your leg, it was the fabric.
It was the fabric,
yes. Darling.
Yes, it was the fabric.
Yes.
Yeah, I was so keen on anything, it I don't know, so it comes naturally.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And so did you study to be a designer? You had the innate talent, but did you study it?
We actually fast forward when we started after high school, so we wanted not to be there in our little hometown. It's in Samar, where it's a fishing village next to the mountain, very rural, but full of talent. So we went to the city in Manila. Then we enrolled in SLIM. It's a fashion school.
You say we. Who's the we?
It was like my friend Michael Cinco.
Right.
Yeah, because we are together. We're classmates since grade school.
Fantastic. And for people who don't know who Michael Cinco is, he's phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
He's done America's Next Top Model.
Exactly.
He done
Yeah.
Singapore Next Top
Yeah.
Model. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you both went to school together.
Together, yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we grew up, and then basically we are there struggling. So because we are not coming from a very wealthy family, so we don't have the means to to go abroad, study St. Martin and all these things,
Yes.
So there's a school in Manila where famous people known Filipino designers went to. For me, basically, because I'm full of talent already, you could draw, you could do this. So just to have the heck of putting up a school name in front, because technically I was forced to enroll in a fashion school because I was selected as one of the finalists for Smirnoff Young Designers competition.
Nice. Love that. Love that. And so roughly how old were you at this part of the journey?
It's quite I was around 20 or 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were building traction in the Philippines, you were getting a name for yourself.
Yeah.
And what made you say, okay, I'm going to leave the Philippines, my family, my comfort zone, and come to Dubai?
It was before everybody was talking the playground for the couture and all these designers way back in the 90s, early 90s. Me and Michael went to embark into the Middle East.
Nice.
So he's the one who went ahead of me. He went to work in Saudi Arabia. Like I came here also in Dubai. Everybody was sleepy here. Here you get culture shock, where it's the first time you've seen a lot of Swarovskis put into dresses, like all your fantasies, sketches made into reality and worn by all these women in the Middle East. Yeah.
How was that for you?
It was kind of surreal for me, coming from a very rural area in the Philippines, and then you get to, to style all the women here.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
it is the closest you could get for Paris.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And when you first came, who was the first people that you were dressing?
So randomly, it was like the locals, like the families here. So basically, I came 1995 here when everything was quiet, no metro, nothing.
Right.
Totally, it was like the trade center was the tallest building in town.
Wow.
Yeah.
Forget the Burj Khalifa, just
Yeah,
the
nothing.
Wow.
So
wow.
everything here, you just put a lot of crystals on the dresses. It was Victorian-inspired era, tons of yards of fabrics sewn together. Yeah, it was all like surreal, like because normally you don't get these clients in the Philippines.
Yes. And so, did you at that point know I'm building a brand? At what point did you say I'm onto something and I'm going to have an international brand?
No, so I was working, so I was sending money back home. Have your sisters and brother went to school with that money that you're working here, and then suddenly I was working with the royal family one at a time on my career. I was working here, and then suddenly you have this feeling that you wanted to just like put your own thing. It's not like just actually building a brand, but you wanted to put up your own thing, like a small atelier probably that you could get, because like working with somebody else, you have these restrictions. You cannot post your designs. You have only these clients, the family there.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I said like, yeah, I wanted to put up my own atelier. We could my skills on pattern making, my skills on sewing, the way I wanted it to be.
Amazing. Amazing.
So it started it all just like that.
Did you expect it to grow so quickly?
No, not really. Like, it was like all these loyal clients I have within these 15 years still come to me because of my personal attentions to them, all these details and all. So yeah, you never actually imagined that it would grow big, like a house brand.
But you are a house brand now.
Yeah, but technically, like my feet is still on the ground. I didn't, look at it as really a different thing. So because the passion in me is still there. Like I love to dress up. I love to do pattern making. I love to do all this stuff. Like the most important feeling is self-satisfaction. This is what you do.
Yes.
Yeah.
What would you, if you were to describe your dresses to the international audience, the London audience, the Parisian audience, the American audience, what sets your collection apart from all of your competitors, do you think?
For me, it's actually because there's a lot of brands of Couture, and my brand it's more about the satisfaction, like like if I dress up a woman, like I put on into her character. So if I dress up a woman of power, so if I dresses her up, like the minute you walk into my dress, you could feel that it's powerful. There is a lot of drama. So an actress, you could feel like like you are a queen, perhaps, a bride to be. You are the princess, like so it's set apart. Like when you set onto my dresses, like there is something, a connection that that goes in. It's not just like dressing up. It is the moment that you dressed up, that like you feel into your character.
I love that. You know why I love that? Because I think that people underestimate the importance of the woman's character protruding through what she's wearing.
Yes.
As opposed to one size fits all.
Exactly.
Here's just a dress.
I agree that. Like there is what you call no offense to, of course, like there's a lot of fast fashion nowadays. Like see even how powerful you are if you are not dressing the right dress for you. So it doesn't make sense. You could pick up one housewife and put it in a very powerful suit, and then looking at it like just a picture, that you could see she's a powerful woman.
Yes.
So dressing, it's very powerful.
Yes.
It's an armor. Actually.
Yes, it's armwear. Absolutely. I often, when I look at runway shows, whether it be New York or London Fashion Week or Arab Fashion Week, I always say as a brand specialist that the runway show is the storytelling of the brand.
Exactly, yes.
So for your last show, what was the story that you were telling us through the runway show?
It was actually, the collection was named after the last ball of the Tsar. So I fall in love with this story of the regime that toppled down way back on the monarchy of the last Tsar in Russia. So they have this ball, something between 1803, they have this last ball when they have their finest finery, they put up all their jewelers, all ballerinas and all, you know, and that was the last scene. So it was a story of what is happening at the moment. Like, you know, there is uncertainty that is happening at the moment. You don't know because of what is happening on the pandemic. We wanted to create a stage, like, you know, the best. You have to wear your best. Like, you know, every day, it's a life worth lived, you know. It's a life worth imagining. You have to be at your best on that very occasion, you know, because you don't know what brings tomorrow.
I absolutely agree with that. We were saying off camera that life is an adventure.
Exactly.
It absolutely is. The runway show, when you're preparing it, how far in advance are you thinking about the storytelling, how it marries into the collection? When you're designing, are you thinking about actually what will the show look like, or is it separate?
Yeah, everything, you know, from the very moment down to the every last single details, you know. You get to that vibe, you know, like you get to see all this stuff, like, you know, dancing, how it feel when I wanted to wear something on that very ball, and then suddenly it's your last day. You know, you wanted to be grand. The princesses, they have to put on all their jewels. It has to be opulent, it has to be grand. From the music to the spotlights, everything, details. It has to be incorporated into that collection.
Absolutely, I love that. Whenever I'm working with designers and we're preparing their shows for London Fashion Week, I say the excellence is in the detail. It is the smallest thing that makes the grand picture. So I'm so with you.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the pandemic. How did it impact business, and how are you recovering back?
Yeah, the pandemic actually, since last year, you know, I have this business tie-up with my brand, the wedding dresses was being sold in China. And then before something between 2019, they told me that, oh, there's a pandemic that's happening in China, and then we're closing down for the New Year's, Chinese New Year. So I said like, oh, okay. So I thought, like, you know, it's a normal thing, like, you know, that it will not cross boundaries. Like, say, okay, I will focus on my energy on building the brand here at the moment. So I was looking for a collection that would showcase only locally. But I didn't know that the pandemic would just, like, you know, eaten the whole global thing, you know, and it's really affected us. And that's why I tell, like, you know, life is uncertain. Even the business here, for my past years here in Dubai, I never seen that the business could stop. That, you know, that you cannot be going out of the street. That you know, everything. So I said, yeah, it could happen.
Yes.
But it is a challenge for us business wise, because, like, you know, the game was different now. So you have to focus on putting up the social media is an armor really to really reach out the market, because nobody was like doing it physically. Nobody was going to because of the scars of the pandemic. Oh, I don't want to go there to the shop. So there was also an enigma when it was coming on, like, you know, like as if like everybody does, like as if like, oh, it would kill me. So it was quite different. So the social media was so funny. When I started doing Instagram, it was actually a normal Instagram. Like, you know, you put up your face,
like your food you're eating.
And suddenly, people have started following me all, and then you know, like the client, you have Instagram, and then I feel shy. Like, you're gonna post your face anymore, you know.
You make me laugh because you say that, you know, you're not used to being in front of the camera like this, but you have such a household name. So for me, that's it's humbling to meet you and to hear you say that. What's the future for you? I know you're going and you're penetrating America. What's the future for the brand and for you?
Because, like, I'm pushed up into the limelight, not to mention, like, you have workers depending on you, you have your artisans, you have your team, you know, and then you are the driver of your own fashion house. So, yeah, we are so excited with collaborations. There are a lot of emails us like do shows here and there. Like just recently I signed up with one of the biggest firm also in Hollywood to come up with collections, dressing up all these celebrities, and then we have upcoming shows here and there. Yeah, so I think we'll just ride on whatever it takes us.
I love that. Final question for you. The luxury fashion sector are starting to fuse technology a lot more. You're seeing dresses in the meta universe, for example, in virtual reality. Do you think you'll end up in that direction? Will you end up designing dresses that are digital dresses, do you imagine?
Yeah, of course, I'm into that. Like, see, nowadays, even now, like, I'm still sketching on my hand, freehand, no? But, yeah, way back when now, like, the fashion designer, there's actually sketching digitally. So, yeah, and I think I'm really a fan, of all these digital arts, NFT, all these things, like, drawings and all. They started it already, and then it's unstoppable because we are into that era already of all these things that it's happening. Way back before, it was just like a dream, but it's happening. Everything now into meta universe.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
So we could maybe one day get an Angelo Estera digital couture dress
Exactly.
in the metaverse.
Yes,
I love
that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
thank you so
Thank
much
you so
for your
much,
time.
Ruby. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, my humble thing, like you are here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.